Maddie and Steve, they set the stage. From classic bouts to the modern age. Every slam, every story, every legacy comes alive with Wrestling Pedigree. So tune on in, the spotlight's bright. The ring is ready on this podcast night. It's Wrestling Pedigree.
We may be new, but by God, we got the best intro music ever.
Hell yeah, we do.
Welcome, everybody, to a new episode of Wrestling Pedigree. I'm your co-host, Matty. Along with me, I have the last real general manager of MWL, the guy that's caused a little trouble this week, Steve Watkins. How are you, sir?
I am fantastic. Looking forward to another really good show tonight.
Yeah, so this week's episode is the New Generation era.
Yes.
For us, probably just for me anyway, New Generation's era started like 93 until Survivor Series 97. So there's a lot to unpack in this. Before we go on, we should go into what is New Generation meant for you. Like, what do you find it? How do you find it?
Well, like the New Generation is where I really came into my own with wrestling. That's when I started going to pay-per-views. First pay-per-view I ever went to was Survivor Series 1993 at the old Boston Garden.
Oh.
I was 9 years old. I loved it, man.
Oh, I think he was on that card.
That was it. That was a great. Well, I can't say it was a great card. It was a decent card on paper. Headlined by the foreign fanatics of Yokozuna, Ludwig Borga, and the Quebecers versus the All Americans, which was supposed to be Lex Luger, Tatanka, and the Steiner brothers. Tatanka was out, so he was replaced by the Undertaker.
I remember that because Undertaker lifted his robe up and then he had the American flag underneath it.
Yep.
And I know who you supported. The Quebecers.
Oh, of course.
No. Hill for life. Hill for life. So let's get right into it. So before we talk about our memories of the wrestlers and stuff, what I think of the New Generation era is the presentation style. So the presentation style for me was kind of like the smaller arenas. They didn't do anything of the 80s. There was a smaller arenas. Do you remember the Monday Night Raw they had?
The very first one? Yep.
Yep, and they had
from the Manhattan Center.
So they were small, compact. Apparently, it was a bitch for them to take it up the elevator to the top. But it was small, dingy arenas, bright neon colors. The color graphics, it was all very kid friendly. And it was basically a down version of what it was before, because WWE was losing money due to the scandal of the steroids before or during that period. So I can understand why they did it. And it was, for me, I really liked it. When I was growing up, I was like, neon lights. I mean, when you grew up in the same era, we enjoy that kind of shit. But how did you find it when you were watching it back then with the small arenas and the compact neon lights and kid-friendly gimmicks and stuff like that? How did you find it?
I mean, when Raw first started in 1993, like I said before, I was 8 years old when it started, because it started on January 11th, 1993. And I didn't have my 9th birthday until April. So I was 8 years old, and my my mom was a huge wrestling fan, and I was really getting into wrestling, so she would let me stay up, watch Monday Night Raw, even though, I was 8 years old. And, I loved it. I was drawn to it. I remember the very first match. Was it the very first match? The Undertaker versus Damien Demento.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's the name out there for a while, Damien Demento.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder where he is. Well,
we should try to get him on for an interview.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, why not?
You never know. You never know with this show. Right, so let's go into we have our pick of our wrestlers in that generation that we want to talk about. As usual, you always go first. So which one did you want to pick first out of the big roster they had, which one catches your mind straight away?
The first wrestler that really started to come into his own in the new generation was the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels. He had just maybe a year and a half before that. No, it wasn't even a year and a half. It was very shortly before Monday Night Raw that he threw Marty Jannetty through the barbershop window.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that picture. So, Shawn really started to come into his own then. Intercontinental champion, first coming down the aisle with Sensational Sherry, which, not even going to lie, Sherry singing his theme song was a banger.
Yes, totally agree.
When he dumped Sherry and started singing his own theme song, even more of a banger.
Yeah, even if you got Jimmy Hart in the background doing the high lips.
Yep.
But I really liked it when Shawn went proper heel, and he come into his own. I remember because it's new generation WrestleMania 9 in Vegas, and he has the mirrors and he's coming out all like sunglasses and stuff like that. I think he was coming out with Luna for Shawn then.
Yes.
He was such a really good heel.
Yeah.
And he found his.
Do you remember who he faced at WrestleMania 9?
I want to say wasn't Jannetty.
Nope.
I want to say it was either Dean Douglas or the 1, 2, 3 Kid.
You are wrong on both counts. It was Tatanka.
Oh, yes, of course.
Yep.
He lost by then, didn't he, Tatanka?
Yep. Tatanka had already lost by then. He had lost before. Oh, I don't remember. He lost. I think it was late 2000 or 1992.
Yeah, because I remember the guy who beat him was already on the dark side of the ring.
Yep, Ludwig Borga.
Yeah, that's such a crazy episode. Tatanka, I would say Tatanka's kind of those gimmick wrestlers. Would you say that why there's cartoonish?
I think it was very cartoonish, but it also very much was who the real man Chris Chavis was.
Yeah,
he very proud of his Native American heritage. Even now, his son is training to become a wrestler.
Oh yeah, his son is kicking ass, and you see his posts on Facebook and Twitter. He's so proud of him. It's unbelievable. I really look forward. I do hope he does get into one of the big promotions, TNA, AEW, or WWE, or even GCW, just to see his talents. Will be really, really good.
Right.
What is your you got a favorite HBK? Obviously, we're going. This is new generation. So, what is your favorite HBK match in that era? That's plenty he's
Ooh.
done. There is so much he's done from WrestleMania 10, 12.
Yeah, I think you already know what I'm going to say, and that's the ladder match from WrestleMania 10.
Yeah, him and Razor.
Yep.
Yeah. That's
That match was era defining.
Oh yeah. Fair play to Errol Hefner for climbing on the ladder to point at Shawn, but point at Razor. But yeah, I love that match, and that match made the likes of Hardy Boys and stuff, Edgy Christian think, yeah, we could do this on ladders.
Yep.
If you said HBK, then I'm going to go the opposite. I'm going to say Bret the Hitman Hart.
Okay.
Now, Bret the Hitman Hart back then was already champion because he I forgot he defeated. But I know he won that weird Royal Rumble in '94 against with Lex.
Yep.
Then he beat Yoko finally at WrestleMania.
Yep.
But his rivalries throughout that generation for the likes of Owen, Shawn, Taker. But I always think Yokozuna versus Bret Hart for me is one of my favorite rivalries in that era.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
There's wrestling today do out very, very a lot now, but that was kind of like an underdog because of the size of Yoko to Hart, and I was like, nah, Bret can't beat him. Bret can't beat him. He got his ass whooped at WrestleMania 9, and then all of a sudden WrestleMania 10 comes around, which they have a habit of rematching, and he does underdog very well, Bret.
Yes.
He's one of the most technical wrestlers and storytelling wrestlers that you could ever watch. I think if you give him, in Japan they have that little doll that you could wrestle.
Yep. Yeah.
If you give Bret Hart,
I forget what they call it, but yeah.
If you give Bret that doll, I swear, Meltzer will do 10 stars because he'll put on a banger.
11 if it was in the Tokyo Dome.
Oh yeah, 12 if it was in Montreal. But yeah, Bret in that era was brilliant. All the way up to Survivor Series. I remember Bret. I know you're going to talk about someone else in that family, but the anti-America heel was so freaking awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, that's early '97, and the summer of '97, and I love that where it's just proper dark and shitting on America.
Yeah.
Another one before we go back to yours is there were seeds of the Attitude Era between '95 and '97.
Yep.
Before Survivor Series. Do you think the likes of Stone Cold being born in '96 and the likes of Brian Pillman, do you think that helped them go in the right direction?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean the new generation, it's very much looked at as a transitional era.
Yes.
They're transitioning from the golden age of Hulkamania, Macho Man Randy Savage, Rowdy Piper, and you're not quite there yet to when you're getting to The Rock, Stone Cold Steve Austin, D-Generation X, stuff like that. So this this generation, I very much feel like it was to give birth to those superstars that were going to bring them into the future, like a Shawn Michaels, like Steve Austin.
Oh, absolutely. What is another wrestler superstar that you feel is like that, like stamp their name in that era?
Now, I'm actually going to go the other way with this one. So you mentioned Royal Rumble '94, where Bret and Lex Luger tied.
Yes.
It didn't quite work out the way that WWE wanted it to work out with Lex Luger. Despite how good he was in the ring, he didn't have the charisma that they needed to build him up into the Hulk Hogan that they wanted him to be. And I think WCW hit it out of the park with him. It made him exactly what he needed to be, which was just this no-nonsense guy. But Vince was dead set on, no, we need another All-American. We need another Hulk Hogan. Let's give it to the guy with the feathered hair. And it didn't work out the way that Vince wanted it to work out, which, to me, that sucks, because Lex is so good in the ring. I mean, when was the last time you saw somebody do a torture rack?
Oh, Christ, yeah. That's been like...
It's been since Lex Luger in the early 2000s.
I think the only time I ever seen, apart from that, in today's wrestler, is probably near enough Bobby Lashley a little bit, when he did it a couple of times, I think. But he wasn't as good. But Lex was unique, and that move cannot be duplicated.
No, absolutely not. And I really wish that it had worked out with him in WWF.
I know it was a lot of fatigue, because when they had the Let's Express, he was so run down. But I know we discussed it last week, but with Yoko doing the open challenge body slam, and Lex comes out and he body slams him on and you said something about his shoes not being the best material for it, and Yoko helping them out. I got behind the Lex Express. Today on my Spotify, I still have that song.
That doesn't even surprise me.
I mean, I love that song, and it was like, because I really, really got behind it. It's kind of like me being a kid now, get behind John Cena. I was behind Lex, and I was thinking, yeah, he's got to kick ass. He's got to win the Rumble. He's got to be the champ. But back then, when you're a kid, you don't know the politics behind the scenes and the fatigue and their lifestyle.
Yep.
But I totally agree with you, though. Lex in WCW, what Eric let him do was phenomenal.
Yeah.
He was the multi-time champ, world champ. He was a US champ. He was tag team. He had epic feuds with Hogan, Sting. You forget, like, Lex is a former horseman.
Yep. Not only was he a horseman, he's also part of the NWO.
And my favorite NWO, the Wolfpack, because it had the best entrance music.
Yep.
But Lex in the ring was brilliant. I mean, I agree with you that torture rack was brilliant. He could tell a story in the ring. He was a brawler / technician powerhouse. Talking of the powerhouse. Now, I cannot do it that well with my fingers. But if you're talking about powerhouse in the new generation, then Vader needs a shout for this, because Vader during that generation was brilliant. I think he came in 95, 96. Unfortunately, he came in with Jim Cornette.
Yeah.
Because I hated Jim Cornette as a kid growing up. Oh, he was a massive heel. And unfortunately, now my personality is based on him. But as you keep mentioning, but he was brilliant. Vader coming in, he beat up Gorilla Monsoon, got suspended. His rivalry with Shawn Michaels and Undertaker and Austin and Sid was brilliant. I loved it, and the '97 Royal Rumble and the Fatal 4-Way in February was my favorite Vader matches.
Yes.
I mean, also Vader with Mankind, but if you watch old WCW, you see Vader with Jack Catcher Jack. That's their best matches.
Yeah. You also can't forget about Vader bombing Gorilla Monsoon.
Yes, squashing him in the turnbuckle and doing the Vader bomb. But here's the thing: people back then, like when we grew up, we didn't really see big men that athletic could do a moonsault.
Right.
We didn't see that.
But we had Vader and we had Bam Bam Bigelow.
Yeah, and who would you say is better at doing that? Out of those two big men. I know that's a horrible question. Who's the best moonsault out of those two?
Oh, I would say Bam Bam.
I would, because Bam Bam would go sideways, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
And I think Vader did it sideways, or yeah. It's for me, it's a toss up. I probably would go Bam Bam, but for the listeners, if you feel that we're wrong, please comment and tell us who had the best moonsault out of Bam Bam, Bigelow, and Vader. Be interested to see what heat we get on that. But for me, Vader should have won the WWE title back there. I think he was going to, but politics and his rivalry with Shawn got a bit dampened then, I think.
Yeah, he definitely should have won the championship, but he fell victim to the clique.
Yes. Yeah. And
like so many people did in that era.
took it off the clip, because I think on our list we ain't got most of the clip apart from you got Shawn. But in the new generation, we had the upcoming of Triple H. We had the uprising of Diesel and Razor Ramon, and the leaving departure of those two.
Yeah.
But it's weird to think that people think this is the Attitude Era, but it's not. It's the new generation era. The curtain call in Madison Square Garden was in the new generation era.
Yes, it was.
And it was controversial. I remember, I didn't know of this, obviously, because internet did get internet in my house until like 2000s, but I was like, wow, they got that VHS tape and they're showing this. And it was controversial as hell. And thank God it happened.
Yep, because if it didn't happen, we wouldn't have Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Nope. And then God knows what we'll be talking about WCW more and more.
Yeah.
But it probably would have been a good thing, because then we wouldn't have Vince Russo.
Yeah.
So, every silver line. For so I go for Vader, and he was mentioned earlier. Which other phenomenal female have you want to talk about next?
I think you kind of just told me who I'm talking about.
I'll give you a little segue. It's a segue. I'm learning.
Now, see, what I would have said was, hey, talking about big men, and then Steve would have come in and been like, oh, yeah, talking about big men, let's talk about a big man who went, let's see, what was the the final tally? Was it 20,
23 and 2.
23 and 2
Yeah,
at
23.
WrestleMania? Let's talk about The Undertaker for a minute. Now, yes, The Undertaker debuted in WWF before the New Generation. Very, very slightly before. But this is when he really started to become the dead man. Having rivalries with Yokozuna with the casket match. Having a rivalry with Diesel. Psycho Sid. His matches with Bret Hart. His matches with Shawn Michaels. A very young Shawn Michaels. I mean, he wasn't the Phenom yet, but he was definitely a force to be reckoned with during the New Generation.
Oh, absolutely.
And like I mentioned, Survivor Series 93, when he took the place of Tatanka, being part of the All-Americans versus the Foreign Fanatics, and, you know, draping out his trench coat and having the American flag just flying right behind him. Being there, that was a thing of beauty. I mean, I was up in the cheap seats, but it was a thing of beauty.
Can you see it in the cheap seats?
Oh yeah, could see it.
Ask.
Because where I was sitting was a hard cam side, but it was way up.
So when it was 92 SummerSlam, I was in the cheap seats. I couldn't see that much or understand what was going on, but I was watching it and I loved it.
Yeah.
But I totally understand on that. Well, yes, so many, like in that era, yeah, so many attires and bits where you knew a bit of what happened with Undertaker. Can we just talk about when he was against, I think it was King Mabel, and he damaged his eye socket, and he had that mask.
Yeah.
That was so freaking cool, wasn't it?
Dude, that mask was amazing. Like it brought a whole new side to the Undertaker character.
Oh yeah, totally. In that rivalry, which rivalry would you say is in that era? Would you say that'd be awesome? That people should watch.
Definitely not the Undertaker versus the Undertaker. If we're talking about rivalries with the Undertaker, you have to watch the Yokozuna one.
Oh, absolutely! But before you carry on, that Undertaker was okay. However, you have one of the best freaking comedian actors in there. Look, doing the detective work. So, by God, it won me over.
Yeah. Leslie Nielsen was just amazing doing the detective work there.
If you get Naked Gun on TV, like I said, if you got Trailer Park Boys on TV, you win me over. If you got Naked Gun on, you win me over. I agree. The Undertaker Yoko rivalry was massively brilliant. Do you remember him going in the casket, and then they're locking him in the casket, and then he flies up?
Yep.
I listened to the podcast of Bruce Pritchard or somebody to wrestle with Conrad, and they were on about like goofy shit, and it's going to heaven. It's going to heaven. Yeah, but back then when you're like 8 years old or just going into teenage years, you're thinking, "Holy shit, this is real," because kayfabe was real back then.
Yeah.
You think, "Holy shit, this is real." He's going, "What's happening?" He's got magical powers. We see some great magical powers during that generation.
Oh yeah.
The Buried Alive match with his hand coming out. Oh, it was freaking some good shit, Lightning. But
Yeah, like I said, that's when the Undertaker came into being the Undertaker.
Oh, absolutely.
He wasn't just a dead guy; he was a phenom.
Oh yeah. I mean, he won two WWF titles back during that period. I mean, unbelievable run he had during there, and even with the injuries, and he's never won an Intercontinental title, but my God, he was the workhorse of that era.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And he was the go-to guy. Absolutely. What people forget is a particular brother showed up in that era, a famous one, and people think that is Attitude Era, but however, this was actually the New Generation.
Yep.
Bad
Sure
Blood
was.
97. What was your reaction when you were watching this and thinking, who the frick is this guy?
Oh no, I had the same reaction that Vince McMahon had. By God, that's got to be Kane.
By God, it's gotta be Kane. It's just unbelievable. And how he ripped off that Hell in a Cell door, and I was like, shit, he's ripped it. He's done his moves. He's got all the power. He's got fire coming out of the turnbuckles. I was like, holy shit. But I think in future episodes of Wrestling Pedigree, we're going to be talking a lot about the Undertaker in periods like 92, stuff like that. So
Right.
we'll definitely come back onto that subject very much so. But for me, the New Generation were just that one picture is this.
Yes.
That for me is the best picture for me. But that's just me being an Undertaker. I'm not doing too much. We talk about Undertaker and his character, his presence. People use this word a lot now. His aura. You cannot mention this person without discussing his aura or doing the crazy shit that this guy did during this era. And it's this man, Goldust. Now, I did not know my take on Goldust during that as a kid. At one point, I thought he was a woman because the dude was like chatting up the man. He was flirting with him. His rivalry with Razor Ramon was masterful and psychology.
Yes.
What is your take on Goldust? Like growing up,
I was very much the same. Didn't know how to take him, but as I got older and looked back, I'm like this was brilliant. This was nothing short of brilliant. Like the mind games that he was playing with his opponents, it was something that very few people could do. And Dustin Runnels is probably the only person that could have pulled that off.
Oh yeah, I cannot see anyone doing a Goldust or anyone similar to that. I mean, Blue Mini tried that in '98, but apart from that, Goldust, Dustin Reynolds is one of the best, one of the best workhorses, I feel.
Yeah.
Do you remember Goldust versus Piper WrestleMania?
The Hollywood back alley brawl.
Yeah.
Yes. Right after the O.J. Simpson thing and taking off in the white Bronco.
Yeah. That's a good shit.
It was such good shit.
That was brilliant. I enjoyed that. That was such a good match.
It was.
Do you feel he was ahead of his time?
Oh yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah. There's no doubt about it. Like Goldust was 100% ahead of his time. And the fact that he was able to evolve
Mm-hmm.
with coming into the Attitude Era and then even after the Attitude Era, he stayed the same, but he didn't stay the same. If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Um,
He definitely evolved it very well.
Yeah. It was a thing of absolute freaking beauty.
Oh yeah. And what his finisher was brilliant though, don't you think?
Oh yeah. Now, are we talking about the curtain call or the Shattered Dreams?
Oh, I was talking Shattered Dreams, but
Okay.
Critical is underrated. Critical is underrated, but the Shattered Dreams, I mean, you gotta admit, some of us tried that as a kid.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
No,
I did it to a few of my friends.
No, you should do it to Ian. I honestly, Dustin Reynolds is well loved now, and he is a future Hall of Famer whenever he wants to go into the Hall of Fame. But where would you place him as more Attitude Era, or would you say generation, just new generation?
I think I'd place Goldust more in the Attitude Era.
I agree, but I feel like this was his coming out party kind of thing.
Yeah.
Especially against Piper.
Yes.
But if there was no Goldust, there was no Marlena. Without Marlena, there was no China, really. Because the Goldust Triple H rivalry brought out Marlena and China. And we do like get away from the women on that new generation bit. But you had some really good managers in the female managers, like Marlena, like Luna, like Sable. By God, Sable. But then, like the women era, like people forget there's actually a women era in that particular time where you had the likes of Alondra Blaze, Bowman Nakano, Bertha Faye with Harmony Woman. I mean, Bertha Faye beat Blaze for the title in '95.
Yep.
And obviously Luna when she wanted to wrestle. But they brought that title back in '93 before during Raw, I think, Raw period, the beginning of Raw. And obviously it stopped in '95 where Blaze decided to take it to WCW. But it's that for me that was the first time I saw women's wrestling.
Yeah.
I've seen the likes of Bertha Faye and Bo Nakano beat Hardy in and the amazing talents of I could sure they was larger players, but I keep calling them Medusa. But they were so talented and they deserve so much more TV time.
Yeah, they absolutely did. Like Alundra Blaze, as much as okay. Let me tell you a personal story.
Oh no, we're getting canceled.
No. So before WrestleMania 11, so back then, the day like the week before WrestleMania, they would always do a fan fest where you'd go in, you'd get to meet the wrestlers, run inside a ring, take pictures, get autographs, all that shit. And my mom brought me for my 11th birthday. And it was awesome. Like we met a whole bunch of wrestlers. I've got autographs from the likes of Chief J Strongbow, Owen Hart, British Bulldog Davey Boy Smith, Lex Luger, The Undertaker, Barry Horowitz, the original Doink the Clown. So I got Matt Bourne. I got Phil Apollo, who was the next Phil. He was the next Doink the Clown.
Yeah.
One person that I tried to get was Alundra Blaze. You know, I'm a kid. I'm almost 11 years old. I walk up to her and I'm like, Alundra Blaze, can I have your autograph? And she goes, not now, kid. I'm busy.
Oh.
And I look back at my mom and I'm like, she said no, she's busy. And since that day, anytime we see her on TV, I'm like, that bitch.
You got heat with her.
Oh yeah, we have like nuclear heat.
Oh no,
and she doesn't even know it.
She might listen to that. She might listen to this.
Like when she was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame, when I first saw the announcement, I went, that bitch.
Oh man, I'm kind of the same. However, me asking wrestlers the autograph is kind of like me being 27, 28. They say no, sorry, I'm busy. But I ask them when they're in arena, not when they're at hotels and airports.
Yeah.
But if she must still do, you know what you should do when she's at WrestleCon or she's over here for Love of Wrestling next year. You should come over here and then get your goddamn autograph.
Gonna be like, you owe me one as Medusa and one as Alundra Blaze.
Yes, all free.
And I want to drive your monster truck.
Then you got heat with her. She ain't gonna let you do that. But she's such a badass, and when the division ended, I flipped over the channel because I flipped through when WCW was on, and seeing her on that TV was one of the most controversial moments, and we're going to be talking about that next week on Wrestling Pedigree, the WCW Nitro 95 to 96. So, yeah, it's going to be an epic episode. Talk about that next week. We talk about love. We talk about heat. We talk about ribs, and we talk about love. And love is love. This person.
Are you going to talk about brother love?
I love you. No, this guy is loved by everyone, and I keep saying love because everyone just has that emotion about him. And I talked about his brother earlier. Now you could talk about the most loved brother. I'd be controversially saying.
So, the Survivor Series that I went to, one of the matches was the Hart family of Bret, Owen, Smith, and Bruce versus what was originally supposed to be Jerry the King Lawler and his three knights. Black Knight, the Red Knight, and the Blue Knight. Now, Lawler got into some legal problems. We'll say that. And he was replaced by Shawn Michaels. So it was Shawn Michaels and the Three Knights. During that match, only one Hart brother was eliminated, and that happened to be Owen.
Yep.
Now, how it happened was Bret was Irish whipped into the ropes, and Owen happened to be right there on the apron. Bret hit Owen into the guardrail. Eventually, Owen got thrown back into the ring and pinned.
Oh, I remember that now.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh,
After that match, Owen came out and he got into it with Bret. And that turned into one of the best rivalries of the new generation.
oh, totally agree.
Yeah. Having Bret versus Owen, Bret winning the 1993 King of the Ring, Owen winning the 1994 King of the Ring, and then starting to call himself the King of Hearts. Which, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
It's as brilliant as that t-shirt you're wearing.
Yes.
Owen, that rivalry, I think a lot of it started obviously as Survivor Series, but there was long. They do it now, obviously, but the long storytelling. They did a bit of it on Royal Rumble, didn't they? Didn't he hit his leg? Was that Royal Rumble?
He kicked his leg out of his leg.
Yeah, some similar.
Yeah.
Do you feel the WrestleMania 10 matches were their best matches ever?
Not only was the WrestleMania 10 match probably their best match ever, that is the best opening match for WrestleMania of all time.
Oh,
I will fight anybody who disagrees with me.
I'm thinking the HBK versus Jericho at WrestleMania 19.
Bret versus Owen.
Oh, that's something for me to get heat with. The rivalry with Owen, like the steel cage match. I think it was SummerSlam. Was it SummerSlam of that year in '94? They had the steel cage match.
I think so.
And I think he won that. Because I think Bret lost to WrestleMania. And then Bret won the SummerSlam.
I think you're right.
But it's such a great rivalry. But if you think of Owen, you think obviously the Hearts and stuff like that. But his tag team, he was a perfect tag team partner.
Oh, he was.
Obviously, him and Bret didn't really. I never really see them team up a lot. But it was always Owen and Davey Boy Smith, British Bulldog.
Yep. Owen and Davey, Owen and Jim, starting as the new generation. Owen and Yoko.
They were my outfit. Just having Jim Cornette with Robin Hart was heat.
Oh yeah.
I mean, just him lining himself up with Jim was because obviously with Yokozuna, like Owen could get heat really easy with the crowd because he had that voice. He had that. Obviously, we're talking about new generation, but a good bit with the attitude area. He's like, I'm not it. He was so easy to not dislike, but when he's wrestling, he was the best in that ring.
Right.
And
Owen definitely would have been a world champion at some point. If 1999 didn't happen.
Oh yes, if 99 didn't happen, I think he would have been the world champion, but I don't think it would be in WWE.
I'm not sure about that.
I think he would have gone to WCW eventually.
He very well might have, but I think Vince was ready to make him world champion.
I agree, and we will have an episode on all the Hearts and their family history. in a future episode coming up soon. But for me, Owen versus the 1-2-3 Kid on a random episode of Raw got so much love for that. It was like 12 minutes of just pure joy, including
Yes.
outbreaks. Like, through the outbreaks, but even I was happy to go through the ads just to see that match even more. They were great tag teams, so like you said, but him and David Boy, when they were arguing, just when they're arguing, is brilliant. They're like little brothers, weren't they? It was just like,
Yeah.
how would you rate the tag teams of Owens then? So you got Davey, you got Yokozuna. Which one do you think he sold more at?
If I'm ranking them,
You'll add Jeff Jarrett in that also.
well, we also have to add in Coco Beware.
Yes. Oh,
Yes.
do you remember those trousers? Whatever they were.
Yeah, I remember those hideous checkered neon green and orange trousers.
However, nowadays that's fashion.
Yeah.
You get away with it now.
Yep.
That's how crazy life is.
So I did really like High Energy.
Yes.
However, out of his 5 tag teams, I'm going to put High Energy last. Then I'm going to put Owen and Jim fourth. Owen and Davey. Owen and Jarrett third. Owen and Davey second. Owen and Yoko first.
Yeah. I was going to say, that'd be a controversial. You put Jarrett over a Bulldog. But I did like them. I know they were an attitude era, but I did like them. They were a very good tag team, Jarrett and Owen. We're talking of tag teams. I think there's a tag team on there. There's so many tag teams. You got like the Smoky Guns, the Headshakers we were talking about last week on the Samoa Dynasty episode. Then we had the Men on a Mission with King Mabel. Yeah.
Yeah. Mabel, Oscar, and Mo.
Yes. Thank you, Vince, for that. Then you had the Godwins. Then you had the New Rockers, which was Mark Jannetty and Leif Cassidy.
Yes.
Which turned out to be Al Snow later on. And then your favorite, the Quebecers.
Yes, the Quebecers.
I'm only saying that because Steve is French Canadian. So it's not his fault. But for the one that I really, really like in my head, and it's just the intalents of both men, excluding the manager, is the Body Donnas. The Body Donnas.
Ah, yes.
I love Skip and Kip, but mostly Skip, Chris Candino.
Yes.
That guy had more talent in his little finger than a lot of wrestlers that came through in that era. And that's no disrespect to like the gimmick guys, but Chris, like as a fan, you could see he had talent, especially when he went to the ECW and TNA. The guy had massive talent, and him teaming up with Kip with Dr. Tom Pritchard, who is a freaking genius in the ring and a great coach by the sounds of things. You had the perfect tag team, really. And unfortunately, life is shit sometimes, and hands you some unfortunate bollocks, but it's just the hair. It's the hair that got me, really.
But see, knowing Candido, that's how he used to keep his hair. Now, looking at Dr. Tom, that's just wild.
And please, if anyone's not heard the story, please go on to Summit to Wrestle With and listen to that story when they were talking about him. My God, I would not want a brother like Bruce.
No.
You actually just told him, we're going to do your hair. We're going to change your hair. We're going to cut it. And he cut it. I think Bruce cut it.
Yeah.
Oh, that is nuclear heat. We're talking about, couldn't do that, but Chris Candido versus 1-2-3 Kid was a great match. I think he had a match with Shawn Michaels. He could have it. I think if Chris was straight and narrow and didn't have the shit that was Sunny, I think he would have been same as Owen and been a world champion by then.
Yeah, I agree. He would have come into the Attitude Era and he would have
he would have killed
just taken it over.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Today, I don't know if this is a good comparison, but Chris reminds me of Seth Rollins. Just the in-ring work.
See, his in-ring work, I would compare more to Ludwig Kaiser.
Oh, no, like Liquid or El Grande?
Kaiser is not El Grande.
Oh, we're keeping that gimmick off, are we?
What are we talking about, gimmick? We are not in the new generation. There is no need for gimmicks because gimmicks were overdone in the new generation.
Yes, that was true.
Like, why the fuck did everybody need a job outside of wrestling? Their job was wrestling. Why did we need somebody to be a repo man? Why did we need a trash guy?
Or TJ, was it TL Hopper?
Yeah, TL Hopper. We needed a plumber too.
Or Isaac Yankum.
Yeah, fucking dentist.
And now that dentist is now the mayor of
Mayor of Knox County.
Knox County. I had a K in my head. There's the dumpster. Gross. Yep. I mean, obviously we won't talk. I mean, don't the clowns were, but there was a fair bit which you got autographed off.
Hey, Doink the Clown was amazing. And that, I really think that is a gimmick that we could still have going on if WWF really wanted it. WWE really wanted it. Yes.
No.
It's going to come back at some point. I can almost guarantee it.
God.
Even if it's going to be somebody dressing up as Doink just to attack, we are going to see the Doink gimmick again.
I don't think we might. I don't think it'll be in WWE.
I really think it will.
There's plenty in AEW that can do it.
Yeah.
What one showed up on Wednesday? I'm so gonna get heat for that when people listen to that. Do you know one of my favorite matches of that era, along with this, is this match, which I'm going to show is actually Bret Hart versus Stone Cold Steve Austin at WrestleMania 13 in an I Quit match with Ken Shamrock as a special guest referee.
Yeah.
People think that is an Attitude Era, but it's actually not. It's one of the planted seeds of the Attitude Era. But like you said, New Generation was a transitional era, but this New Generation don't get as much love as it should.
Right. And it's too bad because that's when a lot of guys our age that's when they really came into it. That's when they started to love wrestling.
Exactly. And when you say transitional, like the younger talents, like The Rock, Rocky Maivia coming up that we discussed last week, Triple H, Diesel, Razor, the 1-2-3 Kid I mentioned a couple of times. I mean, 1-2-3 Kid against Razor Ramon on that 93 Raw, one of the biggest upsets.
Yes.
However, there is another upset in there.
What was that?
Was there another upset that I can't remember?
No, I don't think so.
No, I can't remember.
Wait. Now that you're mentioning it,
Hello.
you were talking about Chris Candido.
Yes.
I do remember him getting pinned by Barry freaking Horowitz.
And he had a nice loss record.
Yeah. I think Barry had no wins before that. So him, doing some sort of roll up.
It was a weird
wasn't really roll up. It was some weird small package, but yeah, he broke his bad luck. But I think it was from patting himself on the back a few too many times.
Yeah, I think his loss record is just like 153 losses and 3 wins.
Something like that. But there is somebody who, his win-loss record is a little less impressive than Horowitz's.
Oh.
And that would be the Brooklyn Brawler.
Yes, the Brooklyn Brawler.
Yes.
The man that I like his t-shirt.
Yeah, you would.
As being a massive Yankees fan in our great win last night, and if Justin's watching this, you're welcome. He complained, didn't he, that we did rib him last week. So
that's true.
Fuck you, Justin.
But the Brooklyn Brawler, Steve Lombardi, he was so much more than just a jobber. Like somebody mentions Brooklyn Brawler, and that's right where our minds go. Is the guy that used to lose a lot. How about the guy that also portrayed Abe Knuckleball Schwartz or MVP? Sometimes he was Doink the Clown. He was Kimchi with Kamala. Not only that, but he was a company man.
Yes.
Anything that Vince McMahon asked him to do, Steve Lombardi did just like that.
He was
and I don't think the Brooklyn Brawler gets the flowers that he needs. That he truly, truly deserves.
I know this is not a new generation. This is a guy that's beaten Triple H before. Mm-hmm. I mean, he beat the future boss, so he knows how to get over.
Yes.
I never heard a crowd pop when the Brooklyn Brawler come out in New York. They love him.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember. I remember going off topic here. Do you remember I think it was the one of the Raw reunions, and Triple H is there with Triple H was there with Vince, Shane, and Steph, and that, and they had people come down that he had Vince had sets with. So you had likes of Melina, Pat Patterson, and you had Sports. I mean, and then he goes, "What's your name?" He goes, "Sports." He goes, "Oh well, I guess the Brooklyn Brawler was available tonight." I just thought that was such a great bit. Well, like you say, he'll do anything for the company. He's a proper, and I think he's still on a Legends contract. I think.
He has to be. I think he's probably one of the people that is on a lifetime contract.
Oh yeah, he has to just for how much shit he's gone through.
Yep.
Before we go up, what would your final thought on the new generation?
Now, the new generation was exactly what he needed to be. It didn't have the main event stars that the Attitude Era or the Golden Era had, but it made those stars. And the one person that really, really, really stood out in that era is Bret the Hitman Hart. And I think with him being the leader of the new generation, a lot of people look at that and say, you know, he led what was essentially the failure of the WWE. So I think a lot of people look down on that and say maybe Bret wasn't as good as we think he is. But we look at his in-ring stuff. We look at the work that he did between the ropes. We look at the fans that he had. Which, hell, I'm 41 years old now. I'm still a huge Bret Hart mark. The Hitman made lifelong fans. And I think WWE owes him a debt of gratitude for that.
Oh, totally agree. And he's a 2-time Hall of Famer now.
Yes.
Even that match that I shared with him and Austin at WrestleMania 13 is in the Hall of Fame.
Yes.
So I totally agree with you about the new generation. Before we sign off, let's have a quick word about our sponsor of the episode. That is Old Glory. So if your closet looking like it gave up on life, go check these guys out. They've been slinging graphic tees since the 80s, back when mullets were cool for the first time. Justin. Now, it's not just patriotic gear. It's not patriotic gear. They got stars, stripes, bald eagles, all that good America energy. But they also have band merch, sports stuff, seasonal clothes, and even ridiculous Christmas sweaters that would guarantee your grandma to give you a side eye at dinner. I'm talking hoodies, Halloween shirts for this month, stuff for tailgates, barbecues, awkward Tinder dates, whatever vibe you're going for, they got something to match it. Prices are solid, the shipping's fast, and if you order before 2 p.m. Eastern on that day, they will do same day shipping. The quality is actually really legit and not flimsy fabric that feels like toilet paper taped to your body. And the best part, for us at Wrestling Pedigree, you get 50% off for just listening to the show. Just use code Pedigree at the checkout. That's 50% off. And use the code Pedigree at oldglory.com. And yeah, tell them that we sent you. It's good shit. I've ordered some of that. It's really good.
Yeah, it really is. And you know, when I was in high school, we actually had a physical Old Glory store in the mall over by my house. I used to go in there all the time. I still have some of my Grateful Dead shirts from then.
Oh, that's so cool.
And we're talking 20, 25 years ago. So it's good quality stuff.
I've ordered some New York Giants merchandise. And I was going to get some Celtic ones, but I decided not to. What a great episode. And what a great topic we talked about. And I really, really enjoyed that. It's good to look back on these kind of eras.
Yeah. And, you know, this era, it's really personal to me because, like I said before, it's when I became a fan. this is also when I met a whole bunch of wrestlers.
Yeah.
Before we sign off, I'm going to segue to a personal story. So I had mentioned that we went to the Fan Fest before WrestleMania 11. My mom ended up meeting Diana Smith and becoming friends with her. And, we would get Christmas cards from Davey and Diana and the kids. And let's see, it was 1995. They were having a house show in my town. And my mom had called Diana and said, hey, we have something for Georgia, their little girl. And Diana goes, okay, well, I know Davey's going to be in Manchester. Why don't you go and meet him down at the arena? So we went down to the arena, and another story, Triple H is from New Hampshire.
Mm-hmm.
My mom knows his dad. So we went behind the arena, and my mom started talking to Triple H and said, oh yeah, we've got this for Davey to bring home to Georgia. And it was a little doll. And he's like, all right, we'll have somebody go and look for him. Why don't you come backstage? And, just kind of hang out. So we go backstage, and my mom looks at me, and like I said, I'm 11 years old. She looks at me and she goes, Steve, don't be a fan. It's like, oh okay. So I just go and yeah, I sit down. Shawn Michaels and Diesel had just finished a match. So they come back through the curtain. We're sitting in Gorilla. Come back through the curtain and they sit down. Got a couple of rows of chairs. They sit in the front and we're just kind of talking to them. And, I'm 11 years old. I'm maybe 5'2", 5'3", standing next to 6'11", 7 foot Kevin Nash. And we just got to sit and hang out and talk. And Owen went and got Davey for us. And it was such a cool time. And I love being able to say, hey, look, on this piece of paper, because I have it dated, I have a signature from Hunter Hearst Helmsley, Shawn Michaels, and Diesel, all on the same paper before they were known as the Clique.
That's so cool.
I'll have to show it to you after we log off.
Oh, that's so cool. I met Georgia 2022 at Classic Castle.
Mm-hmm.
She had a British Bulldog memorabilia in one of the superstores they had. One of the nicest people I've ever met. Was a bit nervous meeting her, but she was like, hey, how you doing? You all right? Yeah, definitely. And we spoke about her dad's matches and stuff like that. It was just so easy to talk to. And in my head, you hear horror stories. I was like, some people that don't want to talk to anyone, but she was amazing and definitely a very nice lady.
Yeah.
I love stories like that.
I love telling that story.
I'm not jealous at all.
Oh, you will be when I show you the autographs.
Okay. Just for that, I'm just gonna go WrestleCon and get it. And Alundra Blaze fucking autograph and just rub it in your face and say my name's Steve. Such a pleasure, man, talking to you about this era. And next week we're going the opposite parallel line timeline a bit. We're talking about WWE through this time. We're going across over the channel the WCW Nitro from 1995 when it started to the end of 1996, where there's so much shit happened through that. It was just unbelievable. So we're going to enjoy that, researching that and talk about that next week. Tomorrow we have the Ross report with Mia Ross is on about this past week's wrestling. Where so much to catch up on, and Wrestling Pedigree will be back next weekend.
Yes.
So, where can people find you, Steve? If they want to bother you, where can they find you?
You can find me on Facebook under Steve Akins, right there. You can find me on MWL, currently trying to ruin MWL, and it is going to work. If any of you are interested in prediction leagues, message me, message Maddie. We will get you set up. We will get you in. It is so much fun. Stories are ramping up. You want to be a part of this. Believe me, you want to be a part.
It's a very close-knit wrestling family community. We all look out for each other. We always have fun predicting numerous promotions from WWE, AEW, AAA, TNA, sometimes GCW if our boss feels like it. But it's just awesome. And then me, Steve, and Ian are the general managers, so we create the storylines and the matches. You create the character, you tell us what you want, and then we'll do our best to make sure you have fun during that season. I think this is like season 7 that we're on, and I've been part of it since season 1.
Yeah.
And,
season 7, I've been part of it since season 4. I've been a general manager since the beginning of season 6.
And the other 2 managers quit, so that's why he's the last real general manager.
Yes.
So, you can find us on our crazy Facebook page, Wrestling Pedigree. You can find us on Instagram. It's Wrestling Pedigree 92. Find us on our YouTube, which will have this episode on here, Wrestling Pedigree 92 again. And you can find me on Twitter, Causing Trouble, Matty W frickin' A. So, from myself and Steve, we'll see you next week when we talk about WCW Nitro. Have a good weekend.